me to be.
Welcome to Vonnie Knows Time Unmasked. 2 weeks ago, you guys were with me on the radio waves, and we have now moved over to YouTube. So all future content will be video based. I have spent the last 2 weeks organizing myself on the back end, getting used to this new piece of software I need to work on, and talking to some indie artists to get permission to use their content, or even asking them to create videos just for you guys for the show. So I've got some treats for you, and there's some more treats coming up in the next few weeks, and there's more treats coming up in the works and hopefully moving forward. So if you haven't already had a chance to subscribe, hit the subscribe button, and in future I will try and announce the shows the day before they go out so that you have time to set a reminder. So get a chance, ring the bell please. First port of call, let's have a chat about why we moved from radio over to video content. It has been at the back of my mind to do something on YouTube, either myself or with my husband in recent months, or even with the kids, just because I really wanted to have the experience. And it's one of the areas of focus, especially for the musical side of things, because I am also an artist. And I think, video content still, video killed the radio show. Yeah, maybe it did. We'll see. I mean, radio is quite cool and people do still listen. But I still think I love watching music videos myself, and I love listening to music and watching the screen. I do love movies, so it's more suited to me. The last radio show I did was International Women's Day. So we did a full lineup of indie women and the music that they create. Now, two things. On that show, I did say that I had enough music to put together another show. So we are going to focus this week, for a couple of episodes, on women and music. Another thing I need to note is the shows are going to be a little bit shorter. We're going to go for 40-minute format or thereabouts. Now, the other topic that I wanted to hit on, and I will hit on, and we'll talk about it throughout the show, was when I did the International Women's Day music, I noticed, because we do like to talk a little bit about psychology here at Vonnie Knows Time Unmasked, one thing that came up was the whole idea of me focusing on just women's music for one single week did seem to trigger some trauma in several people. I don't even know if it triggered some in myself. So we're going to discuss that too, because I really think it's an important topic to talk about how being proud of being a woman can actually trigger people into their trauma about their mothers or the women in their lives. And, I'm not inherently a feminist. I do believe in empowerment. I do believe that women are equal to men in all aspects of humanness. I do believe there is only men and women on this earth. I don't believe in a third sex or a 20th sex or whatever. So I'll throw that out there in case there's any confusion. And yeah, I do believe that, there are big differences between men and women in the way we function and we think, and the things that we produce in this world, and how we deal with things. But there is no difference in terms of our humanity. So it makes me not at the core, if you go by what we consider a feminist, which are women standing on the street with their boobs out and shit painted all over themselves, acting like Nazis. It's not what I'm into. It's not my bag. But I do appreciate womanness. I do love to support other women, and they're the kind of women that I want to present to you guys today, are the ones who are comfortable in their womanness and their womanhood, and are comfortable in sharing the spotlight with other women and other people, and don't feel threatened by that. So let's talk about that in more detail as we go. So again, if you haven't had a chance to subscribe, don't forget to hit the subscribe button below. And I think now is the time that we should enter into some musical experience of tonight. So first up, and someone who never ever lets us down, is the amazing Rachel Zamstein. Rachel decided to release a new song yesterday, that is Friday 21st. The song is called Inside Out. It's one that I have actually played on the radio show in the past, but Rachel was looking to release something anyway, and this is one of the best songs ever. Like, I honestly put it on. I got some new studio monitors. Wait till I show you guys. And I couldn't help myself but share Rachel's song Inside Out with the kids yesterday, and we were all in here singing along. I'm going to try my best not to sing along while you guys are listening. So, but this song is great. And on top of that, Rachel, in all her fantasticness, I asked if she would record a copy of her video where she is singing herself, so that we could get a feel for Rachel, who she is, and get a little bit unmasked with her, which I have asked for most of the artists, but only a few people were actually able to get it done for me for this week. Rachel is one of the first who came back to me, and one of the ones who I had no doubt would pull it off. And she has recorded the video. She posted it up yesterday. I'm very excited to share this with you guys, and I'm going to put Rachel's details underneath in the comments, so if you get a chance after you've subscribed to my channel, don't forget to go over and subscribe to Rachel. Give the video a full listen to, a like, and comment underneath, and make sure you give her some support, because she is an indie artist, and I tell you what, she is something special. This is Rachel Zamstein's new song, Inside Out. Here we go.
Which ones do I let go of? Which ones do I fight away? We're all searching for something and we just run away. So busy planning our great escape. Ooh, you were running around, hurting this way.
Wow, Rachel, you never disappoint. Rachel Zamstein, everybody, and that was Inside Out. That is a video she recorded this week. She wasn't too well at the beginning of the week, from what I can gather from social media, yet she still managed to pull this video out of her bag. I tell you what, there's so many artists out there who really hesitate about social media, and they really worry about how they're going to be perceived and how to do the social media thing. But Rachel is one of those people who literally just exposes herself as she is, in all her glory, in her total rawness, and you really get a feel for who she is as a human being. And although I've never met Rachel, we have been in contact for quite a few months now. She's one of the first artists I played on the radio show because I actually found one of her songs called Mental Illness on Threads, and we've been bouncing back and forward all this time since. So Rachel, thank you so much. Love the song. It really is great. Anything I can do to help you out. Now, what can you do to help Rachel out? I did interview Rachel on the radio show. I will at some point, when I'm more used to the setup here, interview her here. Rachel asked that you subscribe to her channel, follow her on social media, so that's Instagram, Facebook, Threads, TikTok, anywhere like that. Like her videos, comment on her videos. But what she said she needs most is she needs people to reach out to her and let her know what they thought of her music. Now, that doesn't mean reach out to her and send a dick pic. Please don't do that. And it does happen, I think. Reach out and tell her how her music helped you, how it affected you, how you felt when you were listening, what you enjoyed about her music, because that is what artists really need sometimes. Sometimes it isn't always about the money and the glory. Sometimes it's about the individual person that we have managed to have an impact on, and the song that we create, how that song has affected somebody. So, and Rachel is one of those people. She's so grounded and so real that, you know, that was what she asked for. Now, I'm sure if you want to send her some money, she wouldn't say no, and I'm sure she has ways to do that. So go look at Rachel Zamstein, check out her Linktree, and see if there's other ways you can support her. But for today, if you head over to her YouTube channel and hit subscribe, and tell all your friends about Inside Out by Rachel Zamstein, I'm sure that will get her started off for a nice week ahead with her new release. So thank you so much to Rachel. Hopefully we'll catch up soon. Right. This week I've actually managed to get 2 artists to send me in videos of them singing songs that they actually recorded this week. So this is fresh stuff. So just like the last one, which was Rachel, I've got another one from a lady called Evelyn Laurie, a song called Sympathy. I did play this on the radio show a couple of weeks ago. It's a beautiful song, and when she sent this video, honestly, I love the creativity that you get in the artist community, because just because somebody's a musical artist doesn't mean they're any less of an artist or a visual artist, or any less interesting thing is going to come out of their head. So before I say any more, let's watch the video, and then I will come back and we'll talk about it afterwards. So this one is Evelyn Laurie with Sympathy. Here we go.
And when you climb into your bed tonight, and when you lock and bolt the door, just think of those out in the cold and dark, 'cause there's not enough love to go round. And sympathy is what we need, my friend. And sympathy is what we need. And sympathy is what we need, my friend. 'Cause there's not enough love to go round. No, there's not enough love to go round. Now half the world hates the other half, and half the world has all the food, and half if the world lies down and quietly starves, 'cause there's not enough love to go round. And sympathy is what we need, my friend. And sympathy is what we need. And sympathy is what we need, my friend. 'Cause there's not enough love to go round. No, there's not enough love to go round. No, there's not enough love to go round.
So that was Evelyn Laurie with Sympathy. It's actually a cover of a song from, I think, 1969 from a band called Rare Birds. But Evelyn's is so much more intimate, and the video just adds this extra layer of skin tingle on it. So really, Evelyn, you did a wonderful job. And I love, like Evelyn had mentioned in the message back to me, she said she wished she'd work better lighting. But honestly, the video looks amazing. It's so good. I couldn't believe it. It was one of the first ones I received, and it blew my mind. Like, honestly, I haven't got this level of skill for the video making yet, for the music videos. So I was so impressed. And, you know, for you guys who are watching the show today, you know, these videos, the last two I've showed to you guys, they were recorded just for you, for this show. They wouldn't have existed, only I asked. So you guys are one of the first, some of the first listeners, the first watchers to ever see these videos and see these beautiful faces, these beautiful women in music who are indie artists, and they do everything. So for them to be able to turn around within a week and to be able to do a video like this at this level, to sing along to one of their own songs, is really, really awesome stuff. So I'm hoping to have more for you guys moving forward, but Evelyn really set the bar high there. So for any other artists watching, you know, Evelyn and Rachel are two to watch as well. So Evelyn, thank you so much. I just love that version of Sympathy. It really is. It's a really nice version, and it's one that I've listened to quite a few times this week, and it hasn't grown old. So I haven't actually directly spoken to Evelyn. She's probably somebody I'm going to have on the show at some point once I get used to the technology. But what you can do to help Evelyn at the moment is you can go and stream her song Sympathy on whatever your preferred streaming service is. Go over to the YouTube channel if you haven't already subscribed here first, and then head over to Evelyn's. I'll put the link below this video. You can make sure to subscribe to Evelyn's and like the video for Sympathy over there, and maybe follow her on social media. And as always, do reach out, check her link tree, see if there's anything in there, a way that you can buy some songs from Bandcamp or help her out a little bit. But usually a good way to support any artist is to share the music with your friends, make sure people know who they are, and as we said before, to reach out to that artist and let them know if the song has had an emotional, physical, psychological effect on you, how the song has made you feel. And for any of you who used to listen to the band, what did I call them, Rare Birds in 1969, it'd be really nice if you tell me in the comments below what your thoughts are in comparison to this one versus the Rare Birds, because I listened to the Rare Birds one as well, just for a bit of study, and it's really nice, but it's a little bit faster, a little bit more energy. So Evelyn's version has really stripped it down, and such a beautiful song. I actually thought it was an original song. The way she's done it a good justice. So yeah, let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are. And Evelyn, thank you so much for such an astounding video. I really enjoyed it. So you are beautiful and you are spectacular. So thank you so much. Okay. Alright, the next song I wanted to play is from a lady. It was sent in by one of the songwriters, Linda de Bruin. Did I get your name right, Linda? Let me just check. Linda de Bruin. Yeah, it was sent in by one of the songwriters. So the next song I want to play is a song was sent in by one of the songwriters, Linda de Bruin, and the artist is a lady called Anouk Balins. Now, this is not a recording of somebody singing, it is just a video. I've got the audio directly from Linda. Linda is prolific, actually, songwriter, and some of her songs are beautiful, but she is using AI vocal, and I've decided not to play anything that is AI on the show, because I feel like as artists we still need platforms where it's human only. So but Linda has written with other people, and this song is one that Anouk has sung herself. So the next one is called it's called Never Trust the Woods by Anouk Balins and Linda de Bruin. Here we go.
Do you know the pasture land under the smoke of Amsterdam? Are you from the villages embraced by the woods? Then listen to me close. You must never trust the woods. You might think about the ones that went in and never came out. On Sunday, Henry was strolling about, taking off his hat to the new girls in town. Later, one of the girls declared he went straight for the woods. You must never trust the woods. You might think about the ones that went in and never came out. Cousin Annie was searching for berries and nuts. Like a nutter she traced the glittering ground. Her broken basket was found somewhere deep in the woods. You must never trust the woods. You might think about the ones that went in and never came out. Little Harry was bored in the middle of the week. Big trees were calling in to play hide and seek. Only the birds heard the shrieks that came from the woods. You must never trust the woods. You might think about the ones that went in and never came out. When wind rang the bluebells, I was playing around. A lovely smell kissed the tip of my nose. I left my toys at the playground and ran off to the woods. You must never trust the woods. You might think about the ones that went in and never came out. The woods went silent when the police came to search her deadly pound. They looked for us all, but none of us was found. You must never trust the woods. You might think about the ones that went in and never came out. You must never trust the woods. You might think about the ones that went in and never came out.
So that was Anouk Balins and Linda de Bruin with Never Trust the Woods. So both Anouk and Linda are very skilled songwriters, but you can tell the style of songwriting there is very much about the storytelling. It's a very bard type of song, isn't it? Where you follow the journey of the song through the woods and through the experience of people what they've had. So interesting enough, because often you'll find with songs people don't mention a name or don't have a particular character, but with a storytelling kind of song, you do have a character, and there is something relevant to that. So that I really enjoyed that little song. Again, I call it a little song, but I really enjoyed that song, written by two very fabulous women in music. They're both Dutch ladies, and I will admit I live in the Netherlands. I lived in Amsterdam for years. I don't remember being that many woods. There's a few little woods around this area. It's called a bos in Dutch, but they're just small woods. So I'm intrigued to know which woods. She did say around Amsterdam, so I might have to do a bit of research and find out which woods are a bit more substantial here in the Netherlands, because they're pretty small usually. I think the closest place for a decent visit to the forest is Germany, but yeah, intriguing enough. But Anouk is of course Dutch, so she's obviously lived in this country a little longer than me, and I will mention that Anouk has been dealing with an illness and may not be with us that much longer, but her story has been uploaded to YouTube. Go look up Anouk Balins here on YouTube, subscribe to her account and watch some of the videos, because her story is very interesting, her style of music is very interesting, and keep an eye out for Linda de Bruin as a songwriter, because they're both very, very talented ladies. I also have a little treat. It's a poem from a good friend of mine called Janette. Janette and I met in one of the Wren Rabbit Hole group, and once upon a time Janette posted one of her poems. It was the first time she'd ever posted a poem and shared it with people, and it was amazing. Janette has a way with words, and ever since then Janette and I have clicked and we've connected, and Janette was one of the people who came across with me to the radio station, and she was also one of the first people who was blocked when she decided she basically she was doing a little poem corner, which she called Take a Breath, and she would actually use my song because it was part of what her creation was. So she'd say a poem and then play my song, and my song would be playing in the background, and actually she was blocked as soon as she said she still wanted to use my song. So obviously yeah, after this we're going to talk a little bit more about what happened at the radio station and why we're now over on YouTube. But I think, we're coming to the end of this particular show. I'm actually going to keep it really short, because there's a lot more work in the back end in terms of the admin when I don't know what I'm doing. I may get longer as the weeks go on, but I'm not going to overdo it. Let's feel this out and see how it goes, and let's develop. There's no reason we can't learn from each episode. And I'm talking about myself when I say we. It's really weird when I do that. I'm talking about third person. But anyway, here is a nice little poem from Janette. It's called Unity, and it is about women and women coming together to be the best kind, the best version of us. And yeah, it's beautiful. So here you go.
When you look at another woman, I wonder what you see. Do you see a sister or a potential enemy? Do you judge her harshly or praise her for her style? Admire the way she holds herself, compliment her smile? Or do you just compare her, try to judge her down, dismiss whatever you disapprove of, scowl at her with a frown? I personally thought that by now, womankind would unite, band together in sisterhood, speak out for our human rights. Instead, I witness division, women competing like men, forgetting our divine femininity. Why don't we begin again? It's not a matter of gender, it's how we treat each other. Consideration and mutual respect, whether we are sister or brother. There needs to be more love in everything we do. For you are a reflection of me, as I am a reflection of you. We need to come together in every single way. Listen while truly hearing words another may say. Open your heart with empathy. Show compassion where you can. Reach a hand to others, child, woman, or man. We have to elevate to graduate within the universe of life, building bonds of unity while breaking down the strife. We can create a world where everyone is seen, no one disconnected, no one being mean. For we have a power within us, a braveness in our soul, to live in a world of harmony, so every person feels whole.
Well, there's not much truer words than those that Janette puts out there with regards to women. It's really true that, growing up female, you guys, if you're a man, you may not fully understand this. You'll have seen behaviours from women, and you'll know that we have a different way of doing things to you guys. But yeah, growing up as a woman, you definitely find that one of the greatest challenges in life is to have positive relationships with other women. So it can be a bit of a minefield, and yeah, there's a lot of trauma going around. There's a lot of women who just don't trust other women for fair reason, because it can be a bit cutthroat, and there is an awful lot of manipulation in the female population, and a lot of unhealed people, who see other women as threats, and unfortunately that separates us all. And really, if we can all come together and be the sort of women who can lift each other up and cannot feel threatened by other women, there's plenty of room for all of us in all of our shapes and forms and glory. And I've said this before, I don't wear makeup on purpose, doing peekaboo with my kid, and there's a reason for that. Well, there's two reasons. One, originally I found out I was quite allergic to it. It makes my skin really itchy. Some of you will understand that, so I just don't wear it. I remember hearing once, I used to work in business and in IT sales, and I remember hearing somebody say once, oh, women who don't wear makeup, I don't trust them to do business, because if they can't be bothered to get up early to do their makeup. But you look at guys on everything and they're not wearing makeup. Well, some do, but they're not. The average guy doesn't wear makeup, and we never question it, and we never doubt it, and we never judge them. We never see them as any less attractive if we're attracted to them. We never question. I would never hear somebody say, "Oh, that guy doesn't get up early enough in the morning to do his makeup, so I don't trust him." But it was a woman who said that. So to have a woman say that the only way she would trust another woman is because she wore makeup, it's kind of twisty when you think about it. It shows you how deeply ingrained some of these things are in people, that especially women, that it's actually women perpetrating part of the problem within womanhood. So yeah, I stand for no makeup, and I'm actually going for my silver fox look, so I'm still in the process, which is why the hair is up, but you can see this is the farthest I've gotten, and I've got a very nice natural colour in here coming in. So I'm going to go for it. I'm going, in the next year I'm hopefully going to be all grey. My beautiful salt and pepper is what I seem to be coming up with, and I'm looking forward to seeing the results, and I know there's going to be plenty of people out there who can't look at me because I'm not wearing makeup, or will have harsh words for a woman like me who doesn't cover up every inch of her age and imperfection. But I want to be one of those women who can stand beside other women and not compete. I don't have any interest in competing with other women, or any other people at that. So yeah, because we're still on the topic of International Women's Day, which was a couple of weeks ago. We're a bit late, but you know, it should always be. There should always be thoughts towards lifting women up, especially from other women. And I don't mean in a you know, toxic feminist way. I just mean in a very natural, very organic, you know, witches together kind of way. Witches or not, you know, we're very special. You know, we are the ones who nurture, and we are the ones who love, and we are the ones who create family. And you know, if we don't get it right, if we're not treating each other well, how can we expect anybody else to treat us well? So let's listen to another song. So I've got, let me see, who did I not get to play on the show? I think we will try for, I do want to play another song by Yamna. So hold on a second, I'm going to get something from Yamna. Okay, I've just looked, and Yamna, I don't see a YouTube channel, so we're going to run one of her songs from Spotify. I'm going to leave myself on the screen. I actually haven't heard this song before, so I'm going to just play it. It's called Words Will Never Be Enough. It's a new release, 5th of January from this year, and her name is Yamna, Yamna, and let's have a listen to this.
Carry me in your arms, bring me to a place afar. Tell me how to feel, tell me how to breathe. But whatever you say, it don't stay the same. The rain is pouring down again. Words will never be enough. Explaining how I feel, never close enough. Ooh. Tell me how to feel, tell me how to breathe. But whatever you say, it don't stay the same. The rain is pouring down again. Words will never be enough. Explaining how I feel, never close enough. The rain is pouring down again. Words will never be enough. Explaining how I feel 1,000 times. The rain is pouring down. Words will never be enough. Ooh, to explain how I feel.
Well, I don't even have words for that. Yamna has a way. I had tears. I don't know about you guys. Maybe it's harder when you're looking at me. But you should go look up Yamna on Spotify. That's where her stuff is. Yamna, I'd love to know if you also play the piano, because your piano is extraordinary. It's really, I love these monitors. It's so nice to listen to music this way. Even the piano is very emotional and full. So that was Yamna, and if you haven't had the pleasure of checking out Yamna, she has a few songs up on Spotify, and she just has the most wonderful feeling and voice and energy. She's a really beautiful woman. So to give her a follow on social media, I think I'm just going to check. Her social media handle is not Yamna, it's Yamise, _YAMIISE. I'll tag her, or I'll put something under this video, and yeah, you should be able to find her. But yeah, supporting women in music is a pleasure, actually. So if you know any good women, send them my way, and maybe we can play some more of their music. So that was Yamna. Okay, so we just heard Yamna. I think I'm gonna, for this particular show, that's all I'm gonna do music wise, because we have it's like 12:31 on Monday, and I want to put this out tonight, so I still have some editing to do. I do have a full list of other music to play, so let's just go with women in music for the next few shows. I'll try and do another show later this week. There's no rules. Well, there is, but I'm not gonna abide with them just yet. I need to figure out what works for you guys and for me anyway. So I still have, so far you've heard Janette with her poetry, you've heard Rachel Zamstein with her new release, which was Inside Out, so don't forget to check that out. You've heard Yamna, you've heard Anouk Balins, and you've also heard Evelyn Laurie. So still on my list here, I've still got Shirley Callahan, Kate Prendergast, Celine Ellis, Tamara Hayden, Inya, Yana, Lena Strange-Smith, Demetria Dixon, Gina Ross, Dahlia, Gina Kaz, and JMA. So I've got permission from all of these guys to play their songs for you guys on here. So I'm going to do these as we go. And yeah, so if I haven't played you today, don't panic, guys. It's just me, feeling it out as I go. And it might also depend on my mood and the feedback I get from you guys. So if you do know of any artists that you really enjoy, indie ideally, that I might be able to reach out to and get permission to play their music, then please do. I will also try and do reaction videos. Maybe there's some room for that too. We'll see. But yeah, I really enjoyed that one from Yamna. So before we sign off, I'm just going to do this. Yeah, so before I sign off and I go and do the editing, I'm going to go feed the girls and then do the editing. I did want to just touch on what happened, why I am no longer on the radio station. Yes, I can talk about myself as an I. It's not that narcissistic to use the word I. So sometimes in life, when we are given an opportunity, people probably think we're a bit nuts to walk away from that opportunity. But I was given the opportunity to have a show on Saturday night on a radio station, and I took the opportunity because I think I'd always wanted to be a radio DJ. It's something that I definitely wanted when I was a teenager. I was meant to study sound engineering, and then I kind of got involved in alcohol, and I had major issues with the depression, and I just never quite made it to college, and never quite made it into the world that I intended to make it into when I was 17. So yeah, I jumped on it, and from November or October last year up until the other week, I have weekly been putting out a show. Started out at an hour, then I creeped it up to an hour and a half, and then it was 2 hours, and it was great. And I actually was handling it really well. I could get organised in advance, I could get all the songs in advance. I was playing a mix of indie music and classics, and I was able to talk about whatever I want. There was no rules, there was nobody editing my show. I did it all myself. So everything came from my own studio, and nobody knew in advance what I was doing. So literally it would go out on a Saturday night, and then it would get replayed on Monday, Wednesday and Friday. This was great because the guy who ran the station was really supportive, and he really plugged me, and it meant that the show grew and the station was growing, and we grew from, whether it was because of my show or because the station is like 10 months old now. But the station grew from the first month I was there. There was only about between 8,000 and 15,000 listeners in any given day, and the last month, the last show, what he told me is there was something closer to over 75,000 listeners across all channels. So there was almost 30 countries. Quite a lot of radio stations had picked up the show and the radio station, and yeah, it was doing really quite well. And also because of it was live, there was live chat, so I'd be in the chat 4 days a week, connecting directly with the listeners. It was a really great way to find out how people felt about the music and how people felt about the topics we were talking about. It was really great. I really enjoyed it, and so why would I leave that? After the international, there was some stuff happening in the background which didn't directly affect me, but it was just stuff that was creating more. It was more time consuming outside of the show than necessarily I would have liked. I tend to try and surround myself with as healthy a version of people as I can in order to progress forward for myself. And sometimes when people are not fully healed, there is more drama. okay, so to an extent I can handle that if I'm removed, but the drama did eventually come my way, and it just became more dangerous in a way, the drama. Not that it was highly toxic, but it was just something that happened a few weeks ago that meant somebody who's regularly in my chat no longer felt comfortable coming in. It wasn't even during my show, it was during the show beforehand, but it was something the owner had said and done publicly, which was a bit questionable, and I tried my best to, you know, calm it down and make sure. But then the next week in the show, so I tried to do a topic that helped people listening to relax a bit, and I was actually crafting the show to kind of help the group that were in the chat deal with what they were dealing with, but really it shouldn't have been something that was really publicly in that chat. Whatever about each of us talking together and helping to be in that public chat was it was uncomfortable, to say the least. And then I did the International Women's Show, and this is where that seemed to trigger trauma. So even here at home, myself and my husband, when I said I was doing it, he got a little... He's a bit anti-feminist, and that's fine, because when we think about feminists, and we actually, the word feminist it's not talking about most women, it is talking about the extreme version of feminism, the same way that most religious things, it's about the extreme version, it's not the average person. So we had a little clash until I managed to explain to him, but it's not about making women more important than men, it's just about shining a light on the amazing aspect of women and supporting them in music. I mean, there's not that many women in music comparatively, and any women that have been in music historically, they're actually in because they're supported by men. They're not in because they're supported by women. So it's really, really nice to be able to support women in music. So I did the show, but it also seemed to trigger the chap who owned the station, and I could feel it, because in the chat he mentioned how the show was quite feministic. Okay, but normally this person liked to make jokes about women and being in the kitchen, whatever, and generally they were a bit light and whatever, so I kind of just accepted that. I tried not to get into them. I tried early on to play with it and what have you, and we had a bit of banter and what have you, but I don't enjoy those kinds of jokes. I don't think they're funny. I have 2 young girls, and I really want to. One of my 5-year-old one day said, "But why is it funny that women are in the kitchen?" And you know, because I am in the kitchen cooking for them most days. My husband cooks sometimes, but I am, and she couldn't understand why it was funny, and that made me kind of look at it differently, that it isn't a joke, especially not when we're talking about the next generation who literally, they don't want to be told that's where they need to be. So I stopped kind of reacting to those kind of jokes. Fine, it wasn't affecting me. But on the night of the show, I then asked the guy who owned the station, I said to him, just you know, rein it in, behave yourself for the next 52 minutes. The show is only for 52 minutes. I'd brought quite a few strong female artists into the chat. They were there, and I didn't really want them having to feel unsafe in an environment that I had created for them. And you know, my show is my show. It's not just the radio stations. It wasn't the radio stations in any way. It's mine, and I want to be able to protect the space that I bring people into. I don't want to bring people into a space that's unsafe for them. So that was fine. But then the next morning, I logged into the radio, and the guy I was working with was having one of those days. He seemingly had an argument with some lady in a Facebook group because he'd posted some sexist meme, and she took offense to it, and they got into an argument, and then she reported him. He got blocked, and instead of just accepting that maybe he'd crossed the line, he was on the station ranting like it's not something he'd ever done before. But obviously the whole idea of the night before of the International Women, and him feeling it was feministic, and then me actually putting some boundaries there, where I've got one of the kids knocking on the door. Hold on a second, I'll let her in, hold on. But me putting a boundary in place that he couldn't make jokes with my listeners in the short 2-hour period that I was on the show, obviously triggered something, and he had to release it. So he went on this rant. He was on this rant all morning, like to the point where I literally had to turn the radio station off, and he was dissing this woman for daring to try to control him and trying to stop him making jokes in public about women being in the kitchen and stuff. Like, okay, guy, if you want to put jokes on your own social media about whatever this stuff is, as long as it's not crude and whatever. If it's just right, fine. I have no issue with that, and I'm not going to judge somebody for that. But to put it in a public group where people go for a different reason and then lose your plot because somebody has reported you and asked you not to do that because it offends them, is a little okay, fine. But that wasn't the end of it. I kind of sat on that, and I tried to help him see the other's point of view, but it wasn't going in, and the rant went on, which is fine. Walked away. But then my show went out Monday night, fine, which was the International Women's Day again. And then on Tuesday morning, I woke up, and I was an admin in the Facebook group, and I see in the Facebook group a post. It is a post with two women, one with the big boobs and one with flat chest, and it's a meme, and on the top it says, "I'm just out with my flatmate for the day." But the two women were not women, they were girls, right? They were 16 max. They were not fully grown adults. So the picture really was not only sexist, which is no place in my personal view, there's no place in a public group when you're bringing public people in for that kind of content. And it was also questionable as to whether it was even legal. And it was sexualizing women, which is another thing altogether. Because really, one thing to make a joke about women being in the kitchen, it's another thing to sexualize us. Because we just don't want, most of us don't want to be sexualized by anybody, you know, each other or anybody. And so I deleted the post. I was an admin, so I sent a message to the guy and I said, look, just so you know, I've deleted that poster because I don't want it associated with my brand, and I'm an admin in the group, so I'm just giving you a heads up. And he said, oh, whoever it is, tell me and I'll block them. And I was like, no, it was your post. And he said, no, this was a change of tone. He said, thank you for your diligence. He said, do we need to have a fight? And I was like, no, why would we need to have a fight? I've just removed a post because there was like two teenagers in it. It really wasn't something that was suitable. And he said, well, I've removed your, and I said to, if you want, you can remove me as an admin if that's what you need to do. I said, but I just can't have it associated with my brand. So he did remove me as an admin, and he said, oh, I've removed you as an admin. Thank you for your diligence, right? Really cold talk, right? And I just said, yeah, but that doesn't stop it being associated with my brand. So so it hasn't actually changed anything. So I said, you may remove my show from the station, and I just said it. That was it. So that happened. That was the Tuesday, and then within like an hour, I saw a post in the group saying that I had decided to pull the show because I was stressed because I was doing a show every week for 2 hours and had 2 children. Okay, so yet again, we're on. Now, this is where I wonder, was I triggered? Because some guy is telling people that I can't handle having children and doing a show. So is that where I got triggered? I don't know. You tell me in the comments here below. But that wasn't the case. It was an outright lie. It wasn't true. So I put a post on my own social media saying, look, this is what happened, to be clear, and I intend to do the show independently anyway. And then I got blocked. And then Janette, the lovely lady who you heard the poem from today, she got blocked for no reason, but just being associated with me. And yeah, that's it. So that was the end of that. So I think a lucky escape, because I think if somebody's willing to stonewall you like that, they're not exactly in a healthy place. And I wish them luck. And you know, they're a lovely bunch of people, but some people they're not meant to be in your life for very long. And you know, I had a great experience, and I got lots of confidence and lots of knowledge from it, but it's not for me. So I don't believe that my music should be or my show or anything I do should be gatekept by anybody who can make it an unsafe space for the people that I draw in. You know, I want to be a safe space for people. I'm a safe space for myself. I'm a safe space for my girls and my husband and my family and my friends. So I don't want to be an unsafe space for anybody. So that is that. That is Vonnie Knows for this week. Vonnie Knows Time Unmasked. This is the Unmasked. I will have more music for you soon. I don't know when, but I'm gonna get on it, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll split this show up into shorter pieces of content and hopefully put some up on social media. It's all a bit of a learning curve for me. So yeah. Thanks for joining me, guys, and please tell me if you have any feedback in the comments below or reach out to me on social media. Okay.
I'm not an angel.